Contractor safety. There is a very distinctive time that is the worst in the entire project in my world. The most chaotic and crazy.
I think that would be what? First hour?
The first hour.
Yep, that's what it is.
That's when it's a train wreck. So that's what we're covering today is how to manage through that chaos. So here we go.
All right, today, contractor safety project day.
Project day.
First hour.
First hour.
And all the crazies.
Buckle in.
Yeah, we do a lot of projects. And I always get up way earlier on project day to be ready mentally. Because the first hour, is you don't get time to get ready. You walk in, it's like, and you gotta be ready.
Yeah, it's that is very much almost like running command to me.
Yes,
Instant command it because you are literally managing every 10 minutes and every 10 feet.
All right, so here we go. So here's first hour failures.
Hang on. Before we get started, we're going to give some solutions at the end.
Absolutely.
So just hang on for the solutions. This isn't just us creating a bunch of problems and chaos and then leaving you hanging. So stay with us till the end. We'll cover some
Not safety problems, safety solutions.
Safety solutions. That's a great tagline. Wow, I should put it on a t-shirt.
All right, here we go. Planning. Yeah, we're ready to go Saturday. Reality, none of it really worked first hour. Here's an example. Wednesday, 70-mile-an-hour winds. First 15 minutes I'm there.
No one was prepared.
No, lightning, storms,
pull up
wind.
the radar, zoom in.
No, like, well, we just
clear.
changed our whole first hour because all the stuff that they had set out
started flying away.
Yeah, started flying everywhere. We had it all prepped and it just did not work. I mean, so that was it. So you made
tarp flapping in the wind, getting ready to rip off.
So if you plan, you have this idea that everything's going to be beautiful. The day, the weather, the labor. Everyone's going to show up on time. Everything's going to be great.
Who has this idea? If you're new here, you may have this idea. If you've done a lot of projects, you know it's going to be rough. You just don't know which thing is going to be the problem. So you're just waiting to see which one hits.
So that's one of the first failures. Another one is you hired a third party because you're a little nervous.
Hired a third party because they're going to be experts, and you're thinking they're going to be more of an expert than your crew.
That's right. So when they don't bring a meter for confined space, you're like, that's weird. Because it's hard to get one on a Saturday if they didn't bring one, or
the meter that comes out of somebody's truck got no tube, hadn't been butt tested, calibration expired 6 months ago.
When one manager walks up with 7 locks and hands them out to his people and says, "All right, we need to lock out now," you're like, I wonder what kind of lockout
that doesn't make me feel confident.
Right. So that's where you're at. So you have the right to not only validate your third party before they get there, but again the first hour because.
So let's back this up because a lot of people are using contractor management softwares, right?
Absolutely.
There's several programs out there. I know at this current time that we're making this, ISN is one of those options. Avetta is one of those options. There are others
programs
out there.
Yeah.
The concept is that we're doing some of this vetting of the contractor to validate. They have programs, they have training.
Absolutely.
However, I would really heavily encourage you to still do an in-person check of what that really entails. Because there are some workarounds that Joe and I are familiar with on how to circumvent some of that stuff. So you just want to double check. You want to lay eyes on it because, it's your site, it's your people, and it's your day. So.
Just remember, those systems are made for the company to have. But when Joe shows up on Saturday, it's not going to say in those systems Joe has the training always on Saturday. Because that's what you got to go back and check.
We're not sure who's showing up.
Right.
So there's a lot of checks and balances that theoretically should occur. They don't always happen. Right. So just double check that.
So that's one of the things. So because we've had to do that. We've had to go back into those systems and revalidate and say, how did they have an A, but we're having all these problems the first 30 minutes?
Right. I'm going to also tell you, just as a manager, I don't care what any of those systems say when I roll up to somebody and they're in a confined space and they've got no meter, but they have training.
Yeah, we're going to stop.
And it's in a space where we know there's a hazard of bad air. So it's things like that of, those programs may say something, or you may have some paper documentation even on file that says, yes, we do training, but don't,
It's
go with what you're seeing also. Go with what your visual is.
All right, we got hot work permits.
Yes.
Line break permits.
Yep.
Elevator work permits.
Yes.
Pre-job hazard permits.
May have a roof permit. Depends on the location.
May have a ladder permit. May have a lift permit. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you may be filling out.
You have the pre-job hazard analysis, and then we're filling out a project form. We've got a lot of forms. And so I think the thing that we want to do is we want to walk that back and get that out of the first hour since that's already chaotic enough.
Right.
And maybe start figuring out what permits and paperwork do we really need, because we have some designed specifically for projects.
Correct.
And others are for just a quick non-routine maintenance task.
Correct.
And we may not need to use all of them. And so we really want to figure out what's the true intent of all these forms, so we're not just filling out forms to fill out forms, because they sort of lose their meaning when we're filling out 10 forms that all kind of have the same stuff. Let's find the ones that make the most sense.
All right, all the stuff that they supposedly were going to bring, but they don't have all of a sudden, and they got to ask us to borrow.
Hey, I got one.
Go ahead.
Meters.
There you go.
Fall protection.
Is that one? Because that's two.
I got so
okay,
many.
You got more than one, it sounds like. All right.
Meters, fall protection, usually some kind of confined space entry
Lockouts.
Equipment for vertical,
Yep.
lockout stuff.
Ladders.
We've got ladder issues. We've got PITs and aerial lift stuff. Fire
Welders,
extinguishers. Yep.
I mean, you're just like, this.
Are you? Oh, so it goes back to, again, did we hire the professional? So we got to get ahead of some of this again. When we're looking at bids, we want to vet these people ahead of time and figure out, okay, what are you bringing for the dollar? What does the project mean to you,
Correct.
Contractor A, and what's all covered here? Because that's not always documented out, and then we start having to supply stuff, and it gets weird if somebody damages things, and it's just yeah.
Because you feel pressure. I do.
We got to get this running.
That we got to get going because we're already down, but we don't have those.
Can we just borrow this real quick?
Yeah.
It'll just be a minute.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, but
and then
you
you find out
just
the guy's
slammed
no
in
training
it.
on anything.
No training on the PIT. Just slammed into half of my stuff. Okay, yeah.
Another failure seems to be every ladder in the first hour. I don't know why. I don't know why every ladder came off a truck and it was perfect, and within the 50 feet it went from the truck to the job site, it's already got a problem. I'm like, you had to carry it.
I don't know.
We did a ladder episode a while back, but you have to carry the ladder. You have to be like, hey, this thing looks broken. Just keep walking. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand why ladders.
Like
such
another
a big thing.
one, not to belabor this, but we do a lot of confined space entries during projects. Is like the winch will be busted and it'll show that it's been in a fall, or like in the fall.
Oh, we have a 2-foot
popped.
hose for a 30-foot confined space. Well, we're measuring the hole. I don't disagree, but I'm 30 feet in there.
What's the intent of what we're doing?
Yeah, not to make sure the attendant's fine when he's breathing. It's the person inside.
Do they really know what they're doing? Did they really have the training? And that also, at safety folks, should kind of start what you're seeing. You should start being like, maybe I need to stick around for a couple more hours.
Absolutely.
This is a little off.
Absolutely.
I can't go home at noon, turns out.
Another one, the first hour, is figuring out where all this stuff's going to go. I got a loader. I got to park. I got a welder. I got to park. I got ladder storage. I've got lifts. I've got people's brake. I got job box. I got the trail. I got the pickup truck. Where's I parking all this stuff so I can still do the job?
The word is staging. And again, something we can get out of the first hour to make it less chaotic, because we can work on some of that stuff Friday afternoon or Thursday afternoon. If here's where we're going to stage everybody's stuff, and if we've got subs and in general and all these different groups, we can kind of designate some of that stuff out ahead of time.
And it shouldn't be, I was at one a few weeks ago, it can't be whole backside of the plant, because we still have to use the area. We still have to drive semis through there and people walk through there. Like I had one the other day where they blocked out every door that would allow anybody to walk through the area. Okay, we still have to have egress. We still have to be able to get in and out. So you got to look at where you're going to place all your stuff. All right. And then the one here towards the end is so everybody has a site eval, safety check form, eval, something like that.
The contractor inspection, usually it's as part of your contractor management program, they'll have that form in there.
So the form's not the problem. It's Control A, looking at the form and how they're relating those words to what they're seeing is the gap, and it comes down to the training.
Who is doing the inspection? So I understand. Let's just walk this back for a minute too, just real quick. So I understand I'm probably going to make some safety managers ruffle a few feathers. Meanwhile, my engineers and maintenance guys are going to be like, woohoo, yes, we've been saying it forever. So I go to location A, and I'm going to be a safety manager. And they're like, hey, Jen, you need to get some contractors.
Whichever one our staff has done safety in some way or another.
Yeah.
And we do tons of projects, tons of whatever.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And they say to me, hey, Jen, you're the safety manager now, which I was in the past, so this is why I get to say this. They say you need to go to some kind of contractor safety training, because it's different than 1910.
Because she had a marketing degree.
I did.
So she didn't have a safety degree, so she's got to get some kind of knowledge.
But this is also required by the company, as they said, you've got to know 1910 general industry, but if you're also going to be in charge of safety for projects,
Right.
It's a good idea for you to go and learn some about 1926. That's the construction safety standards in the United States. So, perfect. Great. I went to a Holiday Inn class, learned some stuff. But I'm going to tell you, for the most part, unless this is a massive project, most projects are on weekends and nights.
Right.
So if I, Jen, decide I work first shift Monday through Friday,
that's what they were scheduled.
I am never actually seeing how the flow of the projects go based on my equipment in my location with my crewing, with my shifts. I'm never seeing how that flow actually works. And I don't know how you apply those concepts if you never see it done. How are you managing the contractor safety program, and what forms are necessary, and if they make sense if you don't ever see the project occur?
And some of those forms say safety manager sign off.
Yeah, so that's the other thing.
So that's kind of weird.
Like from the PSM side, we've got PSSRs, MOCs, we've got other things like that are, management of change for non-regulated stuff. So we're just making changes in the plant. Safety is supposed to sign off on that. I don't know how you sign off on that if you've never seen the technical way of, here's where they have to stand. Well, here's how they have to move.
Right.
How do we identify risk for what's going to happen in this project if we're not sure on the technical side of where they have to stand and what they have to do to actually complete the job?
Yeah, so I've got there sometimes, and they have site safety or project safety or contractor safety or whatever you want to call it.
Somebody's there managing safety either from the location or from the contractor.
And I'm like, how can so many things have an issue if they filled out the form and it's fine? And it's not being mean. You ask the people, and they've literally never had training on how to associate the words to that problem.
Yep.
But they're validating it today.
Or the other thing that we kind of run into is that if we don't have a good understanding of what is going to be required of the job task ahead of time as safety folks.
Sure.
And we do show
up. We
up.
actually needed a boom lift. We didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so we show up and we do the inspection, and we show up at 10 o'clock, but the project started at 7. We missed it all. We missed the whole, all the drama. It's gone. Everything's already going. The biggest risk of the day has already happened.
Yeah, we don't want to check the PreCheck at 10 and find out they didn't do it for the boom lift.
Yes.
When they've been using it for 3 hours.
Yes.
So in my world, when I do projects, I literally just got done with one a few hours ago. My world is about, you've got to be there before they start that day.
Yep.
To see them set up, get ready, and see how it's going to flow.
And I think the next critical point, and we'll do a podcast on this down the road too, is startup. We got to be there if it doesn't work.
Correct.
As a safety group.
When they take it down and put it back online, that's your hours.
Those are the two critical parts that we want safety to be there for. Now, during that time, if we find opportunities, we want to make sure, again, that we are providing solutions. We're not coming out and saying all this stuff is wrong and then leaving, and they're like...
Not safety problems, safety solutions.
They still got to figure out how to get everything back up and running, right. So we have to be part of the thing that helps them, and part of what that can be is just finding out the details ahead of time so we can plan for it.
Elevator work's a great example. Everybody has an elevator work plan, and they find out they can't get to spot 1.
Yep, there's nowhere to tie off. There's nothing.
Everyone has 50 million ideas of how to do it. I'm like, yeah, but at the end of the day, we still have to get to that spot. So we can't get too crazy because we got to think about what we really can do.
Here's the last thing that I'll say, and I know that there's probably going to be some heartburn on this too, but I think we really have to remember, yes, our policy may say one thing, but when we get into project mode, usually our programs don't cover everything that can happen because there's so much influx going on. So I think we have to remember, we want to meet the intent of the code. What is the code or the laws or the programs trying to do? What's it trying to accomplish?
Reduce risk.
And let's meet.
That's it. That's all we're trying to do.
And let's meet that intent. That's what we're looking for. Yep. If there's not something that's, pre-documented on how to follow.
Sometimes it's a boom list, sometimes it's a scissor list, sometimes it's a scaffold, sometimes it's a tie-off cable.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of gray area.
And you can find out when you do first weld or first cut or first line break that it's not what you thought, and you have to reset at that moment. Yeah. But it's still Saturday. It's still running.
We still got to go. So that's the biggest thing, I think, is there's a lot of gray area. How you navigate through that gray area is always stay focused on meeting the intent of what we're trying to accomplish. And I think most of the times that process has not generally steered me wrong.
You want to reduce the risk, not add more steps to not reduce risk.
Yeah, let's not put in things that are going to create a new problem that's worse than the first problem.
So that's our stuff. Project day, contractor safety, first hour failures. So when you need to be there, at least 30 or 40 minutes before.
Yep.
Not to manage it, just to see how it's starting to set up. Is everybody on time? Does the equipment look right? Is the weather coming? All that.
And be a resource.
Be a resource.
We want to stay away from the punitive side. We want to be a resource that's helpful.
We don't want to get hurt and then say they did something wrong. We want to be on the front end.
Yep. So if you've got questions, allensafetycoaching.com is a great resource for you. We've got an entire contractor management safety process module on there. So you can work through that contractor safety module. It's got all kinds of great data on there on how to manage contractor safety if this is something that you're looking for in terms of programs and the forms and all of that go along with it. Otherwise, allen-safety.com. You can reach out for our in-person services. We do a lot of projects and our site safety for projects. So you can reach out to us on that.
And we got other episodes on YouTube you want to go look at too.
Yeah, we do on Managing Project Day. We do training stuff as well. You can reach out to us, LinkedIn, Jen Allen, Joe Allen. We're on there. We're on all of the different social media platforms. Reach out to us on there. Allen Safety LLC is, I think, our handle on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, the works. Reach out. We'd love to hear from you guys. If there's a episode or subject you want us to cover, make sure you just send us a direct message and we'll try and work it in. And otherwise, I think that's it for today.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to Safe, Efficient, Profitable, a worker safety podcast. If you're looking for more in-depth discussions or step-by-step solutions on all of the different safety and regulatory topics, please visit us at www.allensafetycoaching.com for web-based virtual coaching and training, or at www.allen-safety.com to book our team for on-site services, training sessions, to order merchandise, to learn more about our team and what services we provide in the field, or just simply to request a topic for us to cover on our next podcast. If you found today's podcast helpful and would like to support our podcast further, please help us by subscribing, liking, and sharing this podcast with anyone that could benefit from the information we cover here, as that helps us to continue to put out this free content. Thank you so much for your support.